Hello, Wanderers. My name is Nyx, and I'm happy to present one of my most extensive projects to date. This video will take you through the entire lore of the Diablo universe, condensed and distilled to the best of my abilities. From the birth of the universe to the ending of Diablo 4. As always, timestamps are available in the description to help you navigate through the chapters. If you enjoy Diablo lore, make sure to subscribe. Now let's dive in. In the very beginning, only the void existed, encasing Anu, the very embodiment of all contrasting elements, a unique entity that encompassed all facets of existence, light and dark, good and evil, physical and mystical, coexisted in harmony. Anu, however, sought perfection and purged itself of all elements it deemed imperfect, thus giving birth to Tathamet, the prime evil. What followed was an eternal struggle, a ceaseless conflict of light versus shadow within the confines of the void. Anu and Tathamet, two opposing forces, were intertwined in a battle that lasted for millennia, neither yielding nor overpowering the other. Yet, such a constant clash of energies could not endure indefinitely. In their exhaustion, Anu and Tathamet delivered their final blows, their energies mingling and erupting in a cataclysm of unprecedented magnitude. The sheer force of this explosion gave birth to the universe as we know it. From the remnants of these two titanic beings, all realms took form. The high heavens and angels were born of Anu's light, while Tathamet's shadowy essence led to the creation of the burning hells and demons. Pandemonium, the chaotic realm, formed at the epicenter of this colossal event, marking the site of this cataclysmic confrontation between Anu and Tathamet. Thus, from a single clash, the universe was born. After the dawn, the high heavens and the burning hells initiated an epic war for dominion, lasting longer than any celestial body. The angels of the high heavens, guided by the wise Angerus Council, advocated absolute order. In contrast, the prime evils, leading the burning hells, endorsed chaos and darkness. Despite significant victories and losses, neither side secured a definitive win, leading to an enduring stalemate. In this ongoing struggle, the Worldstone, believed to be the Eye of Anu, emerged as a coveted prize. Found in Pandemonium, this artifact could alter reality and create worlds, turning it into the conflict's focal point. The Worldstone, under the Heaven's rule, spawned realms of perfect order. However, under Hell's influence, it bred chaos and worlds of terror. All these realities, irrespective of their creators, eventually perished due to the relentless conflict. Recognizing the Worldstone's significance, the Archangel Tyrael, from the Angerus Council, ordered a fortress to be built around it, known as the Pandemonium Fortress. This stronghold changed hands multiple times, reflecting traits of both angels and demons. Battles of the eternal conflict extended beyond the walls of Pandemonium, reaching heaven and hell. The high heavens' diamond gates endured several demonic attacks but remained intact. Angels invaded hell, battling Mephisto, one of the three prime evils, in his realm and assaulting the Hellforge, leading to the angel Iswell's capture by the forces of hell. Iswell is an important part of the Diablo universe, and you will see him again later on. Thus, the great conflict persists, each side vying for dominance. Exhausted from the ongoing eternal conflict, Lilith, the daughter of Mephisto the prime evil, grew wary of the battle strategies of her father and her uncles, Diablo and Baal. In the midst of one such battle, she captured an angel named Inarius and took him to her hideout. Although she had initially intended to torment him, she found herself breathing new life into him instead. Upon awakening, Inarius began to talk wildly about his longing to escape the eternal conflict. Lilith found her own sentiments mirrored in the desires of Inarius, seeing the disillusioned angel as a potential ally she could sway to fulfill her own objectives. She introduced herself to him, and the angel in turn found himself becoming infatuated with her. Lilith then shared her plan to run away with the Worldstone and utilize it to fabricate a new world where they could coexist. This marked a historic moment in the eternal conflict. the first time an angel and a demon decided to overlook their differences and work together for a common cause. With a united front, they rallied other like-minded angels and demons to their cause and stole the Worldstone from the Pandemonium Fortress. Together, they constructed a new world called Sanctuary, a haven away from the perpetual chaos of the eternal conflict. Lilith and Inarius became the rulers of this world, governing alongside a council of other angels and demons from a grand structure that would later be known as the Temple of the Firstborn. While Inarius found solace in their successful escape from the war, Lilith had greater ambitions. She sought to show Inarius that a victory against the forces of hell and the forces of heaven wasn't a mere fantasy, but a feasible reality. As a step towards realizing this grand plan, she decided to present Inarius with something unexpected: the birth of a son. At the altar of rites, an unprecedented ritual brought about the birth of their son, Lunarian, who would later rename himself to Rathma. He was truly the first Nephalem, an extraordinary blend of angel and demon. This birth marked a new era as Lilith and Inarius, as well as their fellow angels and demons, continued to bring more Nephalem into existence, each stronger than their predecessors. The growing number and power of the Nephalem incited concern amongst the renegades, leading to strife and debate about this potential threat. Lilith, fiercely protective of her progeny and envisioning them as the key to ending the ceaseless eternal conflict, was consumed by a blind fury at the idea of her children's destruction. Unleashing a violent rampage, she decimated every renegade who sought harm for the Nephalem, a horrific sight that awaited the horrified Inarius. Unable to end Lilith's life despite her rampage, Inarius exiled her from Sanctuary, a decision that came with severe consequences. Lilith was exiled, not to another world, but to the Void. In the aftermath, Inarius manipulated the Worldstone, an act that caused the powers of the Nephalem to progressively wane with each passing generation. This gradual weakening effectively gave rise to a new race, humans, mortal beings significantly less potent than their powerful ancestors. Thus, amidst the turmoil and struggle, humanity was born, carrying with them the legacy of the mighty Nephalem. Then came a time of somewhat calm as humanity built their foundations and discovered the secrets of Sanctuary. But a clan of mages started to dabble into the powers of summoning and caught the attention of the forces of hell, leading to a time known as the Sin War. The Sin War was waged between the Triune's prime evils and the angel Inarius of the Cathedral of Light. Their goal: win humanity's loyalty in the eternal conflict, thereby linking humans with the celestial war between angels and demons. When the Burning Hells discovered Sanctuary through the Vigiray Mage clan messing with demonic summonings, Mephisto sent his son Lucion to sway humanity to their side through a cult called the Triune. In response, Inarius established the Cathedral of Light, marking the start of a secret war for humanity's allegiance. The balance was shattered when Lilith returned, seeking to control the Nephalem's power. She manipulated a farmer named Odyssean to lead a group named the Edirim in a revolt against the Triune in the Cathedral. Odyssean's revolt eventually attracted the High Heaven's attention, resulting in a three-way war between the angels, demons, and the Edirim. Odyssean, realizing the dangerous potential of the unchecked Nephalem energies, contained these energies within himself, sacrificing his life to reset the Worldstone and save the world. In the aftermath, Archangel Tyrael, moved by Odyssean's sacrifice, voted to spare Sanctuary during a meeting with the Angerus Council and Mephisto, the prime evil. A truce was agreed between heaven and hell, and Inarius, for his sin of creating Sanctuary, was given over to Mephisto to be tortured for all of eternity. Take note of that, as we will see Inarius again later on. The memories of the surviving Edirim were altered, leaving humans ignorant of angels, demons, and the Nephalem. Yet, a few, like the Mage clans, retained their memories, setting rules to keep celestial forces out of mortal affairs and forbidding the teachings of summoning magic. but the decree was eventually violated, leading to a time known as the Mage Clan Wars. Following the Sin War, Mage clans regained control over the eastern regions. A mandate by the Ennead and Amuit clans prohibited the summoning of demons into Sanctuary, aiming to preserve the mortal realm. The Viserai clan thrived, its numbers growing rapidly. Yet, this growth came with severe transgressions. A forbidden summoning ritual was discovered, sparking a chain of retaliation that triggered the Mage Clan Wars. The Viserai suffered from eternal dissent, especially between the siblings Horazan and Bartuk over the treatment of demons. Bartuk's pursuit of an alliance with demons led to widespread destruction and subsequently his removal from command, as Bartuk turned his forces on his own clan. A devastating battle unfolded in the city of Vejun. The city was ravaged, and the Viserai nearly annihilated. The decisive duel between Horazan and Bartuk culminated in Bartuk's death and the end of the war. In the war's aftermath, the Viserai clan denounced demonic magic, shifting focus to elemental magic, and instituted the Vizjaktar to ensure the past misdeeds wouldn't repeat. These were assassins trained in killing mages that swayed from the teachings of the mage clans. Academies were also established to provide ethical magical education. However, the public's disdain for mages had crystallized. The once powerful Viserai were reduced to a mere shadow of their former selves, and the repercussions of the Mage Clan Wars drastically altered society's outlook towards magic. Laws prohibiting the use of magic were enacted, leading to the demise of the Age of Magic. In its place rose the Age of Faith, which witnessed the emergence of numerous new religions, but most powerful of them all was the Order of Zakarum. At the heart of the Age of Faith was a hermit named Akarat, who experienced a transformative vision while on the mystical island of Zansai. He believed this vision to be a message from the angel Yarius, which provided him with profound insights into the nature of the universe, reality, and the human condition. He became an ardent preacher of the light, amassing followers in every city he visited. It is widely believed that the concept of the light was introduced to Sanctuary by the Archangel Yarius, who selected Akarat as a prophet of his teachings. Akarat's teachings on the light gave birth to the Zakarum faith, which eventually became the predominant religion on Sanctuary, its influence reaching even the most remote corners of Sanctuary. The Zakarum faith revolves around the belief that the light exists within all mortals, and only through faith and obedience can one's inner light combat the darkness. This faith was so powerful that it led to the formation of the Order of Zakarum, an organization dedicated to the worship of the light and the practice of its tenets. Even though this dedication often spiraled into fanaticism, it was a testament to the profound influence the Zakarum faith held over the people of Sanctuary. After the Sin War came the Dark Exile. The prime evils, having been banished from hell due to a rebellion orchestrated by the lesser evils, focused on corrupting humanity. The lesser evils Asmodan and Belial led the rebellion against the prime evils, initially united, but soon started fighting for control over hell, as is their nature. So the prime evils Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo, now weakened and trapped in the mortal realm, started causing chaos by possessing human hosts, leading to brutal wars and much suffering. In reality, the prime evil's banishment was their own ploy. The angel Isuel, who we talked about earlier, was corrupted during his capture and revealed the power of the Soulstones to the prime evils. Indeed, through the Soulstones, they could corrupt the World Stone, and through it, humanity as a whole. The prime evils unleashed their followers upon the world, causing widespread destruction and altering the nature of the planet's creatures. The once peaceful world became a hostile environment where only the strongest could survive. To counter this threat, Tyrael, Archangel of Justice, assembled a group named the Horadrim to imprison the prime evils using soulstones. In time, Diablo and Baal were pursued to Aranok, leading to an intense battle in which Baal shattered his Soulstone. Haradrim leader Tal Rasha volunteered to contain Baal's essence within his own body, a task requiring him to wrestle with the demon for all eternity. Mephisto was also confronted and captured in a Soulstone by the Haradrim and given to the Order of Zakarum for safekeeping, which was a terrible idea when you look at what happened. Anyway, lastly, the Lord of Terror, Diablo, was found and defeated in Kandurus after a long, arduous search. The Haradrim sealed him in the maze-like caves near the River Talsand, ending the horrific era known as the Dark Exile, with all three prime evils contained. In the darkness, they slowly corrupted the humans around them until the events of the Darkening of Tristram, also known as the story of Diablo 1. In his confinement, Mephisto started to corrupt the Zakarum priests around him, including the Archbishop Lazarus. This Archbishop was part of the entourage of a man named Leoric. The Zakarum High Council sent Leoric to Kandurus. Once there, Leoric declared himself king. This move was orchestrated by Archbishop Lazarus to bring himself nearer to Diablo's Soulstone in Kandurus, part of Mephisto's wider scheme, of course. As Lazarus freed Diablo from the Soulstone, King Leoric descended into madness. He ruled with an iron fist. His son, Ulbrich, was taken by Lazarus, providing Diablo with a human host once again. This plunged Tristram into an era of fear and darkness. Upon returning from a disastrous war with Westmarch, Lacdanan, the king's captain, was forced to slay the Mad King, a move which resulted in Leoric's curse transforming him into a Hell Knight. Archbishop Lazarus further aggravated Tristram's woes by misleading villagers into a Zakarum cathedral, leaving them to the mercy of a demon you might know, called the Butcher. The second son of King Leoric, Prince Aidan, returned to Tristram amidst this chaos, venturing into the caves with his allies. That's you, by the way. They defeated the Butcher, the skeleton King Leoric, and Lazarus, culminating in a fight to the death against Diablo, which they came out victorious from. Unfortunately, the Soulstone used to contain Diablo was fractured because of the actions of Archbishop Lazarus. Convinced he could contain the essence of Diablo, Aidan plunged the Soulstone into his own skull. Nice. And it worked. Aidan emerged victorious but scarred. The sight of his brother's body shattered his spirit, and the task of containing Diablo's essence within himself marked him further. His triumph brought momentary peace to Tristram, but it was clear Aidan was fundamentally changed. He withdrew, shunning company, finding solace only in the witch Adria's presence. She was privy to the terrible truth. Diablo had not been contained, and through Aidan, she bore Diablo's child, an important detail that will come back in our story. Aidan slipped further into darkness. Muttering to himself, garbed in dark clothes, he seemed to be haunted by his own deeds. His departure from Tristram marked the end of an era and the beginning of Aidan's journey as the Dark Wanderer. Our tale continues with Aidan's transformation into the Dark Wanderer. He was set on a path eastward with an underlying agenda to bring chaos to the mortal realm. The Dark Wanderer's journey led him to the prison tomb of Baal. Despite the best efforts of Tyrael, Baal was freed from his eternal confinement. United once more, Diablo and Baal crossed the Twin Seas to reach Kurast. In Kurast, a reunion took place within the depth of the Temple of Zakarum. The trio was finally complete with the addition of Mephisto. Together, three prime evils orchestrated their final stratagem. The plan was twofold. Diablo would cross into Hell to consolidate the legions still faithful to the three prime evils, while Baal would travel north to corrupt the Worldstone. With the Worldstone in their control, they intended to manipulate mankind and the latent Nephalem power to serve their sinister purposes. Their ultimate goal was to rule by leveraging an army of Nephalem against the rebellious forces of Hell and the forces of Heaven to finally win the eternal conflict. But the prime evil's well-laid plan began to falter. Back at the Temple of Zakarum, The mortal heroes prevailed over Mephisto, who had stayed behind to eliminate any obstacles. They managed to trap Mephisto within his Soulstone, repeating the feat with Diablo in hell. Both Soulstones were destroyed on the Anvil of Destruction, supposedly banishing the evils to the Black Abyss. The only prime evil left was Baal. In a cruel twist of fate, the last remaining Soulstone falls into the hands of Baal, the final brother and last prime evil in Sanctuary. Baal, in the guise of Archangel Tyrael, manipulates Marius, the person who removed the Soulstone from Tal Rasha's body beneath the Temple of Zakarum, into surrendering the precious artifact, leading to the unsuspecting man's demise. As the Lord of Destruction, Baal has his sights set on the Worldstone. Being the origin of all Soulstones and the source of their power, Baal intends to corrupt the Worldstone, aiming to fulfill his brother's ambitions of conquering the mortal realm, which would serve as a strategic stronghold in their eternal war against the heavens. In pursuit of his sinister objective, Baal leads a relentless onslaught against the northern barbarian territories. His invasion begins with a brutal attack on the city of Sescheron, the barbarians' capital, leading him to Harrogate, located at the foot of Mount Arreat. This city is home to a courageous group of humans who had sworn to protect the mountains at all cost. With relentless fervor, Baal lays waste to the city and any settlement standing in his way towards the summit of the mountain. The heroes, braving through Baal's most formidable minions, finally face Baal in a climactic battle within the Worldstone chamber. Despite their victory over the Lord of Destruction, they find the Worldstone corrupted beyond salvation. With a heavy heart, Tyrael the Angel decides to destroy the Worldstone. The resulting explosion obliterates Mount Arreat, devastates the surrounding landscape, and wipes out Baal's forces. 2 decades after the destruction of the Worldstone, Deckard Cain and his niece Leah study a prophecy in Tristram Cathedral when a star-like figure crashes into the cathedral, creating a deep crater. Deckard Cain is lost in the rubble. The Nephalem, a hero, arrives to investigate. This is you, by the way, in Diablo 3. They rescue Cain and discover that the star is an amnesiac man, Tyrael, missing his broken sword. As the Nephalem gathers the sword pieces, Magda, a witch, seizes them and kidnaps Deckard Cain. Dying from Magda's torture, Cain repairs the sword before exhaling his last breath, and the Nephalem returns it to Tyrael, restoring his memory. The fallen angel Tyrael reveals he descended to warn humanity of the demon lords Belial and Asmodan, and their plans to conquer Sanctuary. To avenge Cain, the Nephalem tracks down Magda in Khaldum, a city under Belial's control. The Nephalem defeats her and frees Leah's mother, Adria. Yes, this is the same Adria from the events of Diablo 1. We will get back to that in a second. Adria reveals the key to stopping the demons, the Black Soulstone. The Black Soulstone was a soulstone that could contain multiple angels and demons. It was created by Zoltan Kull, one of the first Horadrim, and used by Adria to draw the souls of Diablo, Mephisto, Baal, and Dariel and Duriel. To obtain it, the Nephalem resurrect Zoltan Kull and defeat Belial, freeing the city of Khaldum. As Leah, Adria, Tyrael, and the Nephalem prepare to face Asmodan's advancing forces, Adria betrays them, revealing herself as Diablo's agent. She uses the Black Soulstone, now filled with the souls of 7 demon lords, to resurrect Diablo using Leah as a vessel. Diablo, now the prime evil, begins his assault on the high heavens. I hope you've made the connection here that Leah is the daughter of Aiden from Diablo 1, or just Diablo as Aiden was possessed, and Adria, meaning that she was the perfect host to resurrect Diablo. The Nephalem follows Diablo to the high heavens and stops Diablo from corrupting the Crystal Arch, the source of all angelic power. After the battle, Tyrael in his mortal form stays with the high heavens, vowing to build an alliance between angels and humans. After the defeat of Diablo in the high heavens, Tyrael and the Horadrim recover the Black Soulstone harboring the 7 great evils' essence. Their intent to safely hide it is disrupted by Malthael, the former Archangel of Wisdom, now dubbed the Angel of Death, who seizes the Soulstone. With all the evils captured in the Soulstone, Malthael saw humanity as the last true evil in the world and sought to eradicate humanity for the good of the universe. Tasked by Tyrael, the Haradrim survivor, Lorath Nar, finds the Nephalem near West March City, now under siege by Malthael's army, the Reapers. The Nephalem also uncovers Adria's plot to resurrect Diablo once again using the Black Soulstone, culminating in a battle that ends in her death. She just can't stop herself, can she? Anyway, upon learning Malthael's location, the Nephalem breaches the Pandemonium Fortress. Tyrael's timely insights reveal Malthael's intention to use the Black Soulstone to obliterate humanity by consuming all demonic essence. Undeterred, the Nephalem unlocks a soul prison within the fortress, absorbs a facet of death, and confronts Malthael. Despite Malthael harnessing the power of the 7 evils by shattering the Black Soulstone, the Nephalem prevails. But Malthael's death frees the 7 evils, leaving the Nephalem's role, savior or destroyer, unknown. His actions also led to half of the population of Sanctuary disappearing. Something a little like what happened with Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, although there's no going back this time. Here's a short spoiler warning for the events of Diablo 4, as in the next chapter I'll be spoiling the entire campaign story. You've been warned. We now transition to the events of Diablo 4, set half a century after the calamitous happenings caused by Malthael. Our main character, known as the Wanderer, that's you of course, finds themselves drugged by villagers under the malevolent sway of Lilith. Escaping this predicament, the Wanderer meets Lorath Nar, a surviving member of the esteemed Haradrim, fresh from the aftermath of Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Lorath Nar imparts the alarming prophecy of Lilith's return. Concurrently, the angel Inarius, having escaped his infernal imprisonment at the hands of Mephisto, is convinced that annihilating Lilith will grant him re-entry to heaven, an outcome he desires above all else. Joined by Nerel, a young woman encountered during their journey, the Wanderer infiltrates the sanctum of Rathma, the first Nephalem and founder of the Necromancers. Inside, the Wanderer encounters Rathma's spirit. We learn here that Inarius caused Rathma's death in a dispute over the key to Hell. That's right, Inarius killed his own son. The Wanderer then proceeds to Skosglen, meeting another Haradrim member, Donan. Previously, Donan, with the assistance of 2 druids, had defeated the demon Astaroth, the defender of the Cathedral of Hate, the dominion of Mephisto. One could only access the Cathedral of Hate with the permission of Astaroth. Lilith, however, had corrupted these druids, leading her to Astaroth's Soulstone. The demon is then released in return for safe passage through the hellfire surrounding the Cathedral of Hate in Hell. Following this, Lilith sets out to unite the lesser evils. Her objective is to strengthen humanity against the formidable prime evils and assemble an army to counter heaven and hell. Her grand scheme entails absorbing her weakened father, Mephisto's essence, to assert her dominance over hell. That's why she must reach the Cathedral of Hatred, the dwelling place of her father's corporeal form. A conflict ensues in hell when Lilith is confronted by Inarius and the forces of the Cathedral of Light. A fierce battle ignites between Lilith and Inarius' forces, culminating in a decisive showdown where Lilith defeats and kills Inarius, leaving the Cathedral of Light leaderless. In an attempt to thwart Lilith from harnessing the power of her father, the Wanderer and Nerel journey to the Cathedral of Hatred. In the cathedral, Nerel chooses to imprison Mephisto's soul within a soulstone to keep Lilith away from him. A grave mistake. As Nerel flees the scene, the Wanderer faces off against Lilith, eventually defeating her. In her dying moments, Lilith issues a grave warning about the insurmountable odds they will face without her assistance. As it turns out, Mephisto had been pulling their strings, eager to be imprisoned within a soulstone once again. Now safely housed within the soulstone, Mephisto is free from the confines of hell, This newfound liberty allows him to extend his malevolent reach more effectively, starting with Nirel. Mephisto's grand scheme appears to have succeeded, exposing a masterful strategy where every action was a measured step towards his ultimate goal. While we've come to an end of our exploration for now, remember, the story of Diablo is far from over. This universe is constantly evolving, always ready for the next adventure. As we continue our struggle against the forces of darkness, we await the unfolding of the next chapter in this tale. Until then, stand strong, brave souls, for the fight is not over yet. The journey continues, and so must we. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Once more, if you like Diablo lore and you like this video, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Thank you again, and we'll see you very soon.